So following on from part one, we were at the point where our particles were projecting, but there was not enough density or enough particles in general to simulate our process. So what we want to do is increase the amount of particles. So in these settings, once we've clicked on birth, we can see the start and the end, which is our timer along our timeline. And in that, it's currently generating 200. So let's add this up to, let's try 200,000. So as we can see now, there are more particles coming out, but it doesn't quite look how we would want it to. So right now we've got our birth for our particles and our object where these particles are coming from. And as we can see, they're stuck on them, not coming out of them. So what we need to add now is a speed. Let's add that under there. What this will do is start causing these particles to project off of the face rather than just sticking to them. Within the speed, we want it to simulate our views a bit better. And when you're on a train, you won't be able to see the buildings directly up because of the roof. So we'll go into direction and we'll change it to random horizontal. This way, the views will just project out sideways as if you're looking out the windows of a train. Another thing we can do is increase the magnitude. Let's try putting that at 5. This will just cause it to disperse more throughout our site model. So at this point, our simulation is showing where the views are coming from, but what we now want to add is where they stop. So to do this, we're going to add a collision under our speed. For this, we need to pick where we want it to collide into. And for instance, in our project, we were looking at this walkway, so these facades. So for now, let's pick these buildings and click Add Selected. As we can see, these 4 buildings are now appearing in our collision. Now, if we drag our slider, we can see that as it progresses, the dots will stop on the faces of these buildings and pass through in other areas. Now that we have our motion aspects sorted, we want to start developing the script for the visualization where these views will stick to our faces. So to start, we're going to create a new event. Let's drag in mapping as the first thing. But before that, what we want to do is make sure all the particles from this simulation are following through to this second event. So let's hit tab and search for send out. We can turn the visualization for that off, but let's drag this and our collision into our second event. Okay, in this event, we have our mapping, but rather than mapping our objects, we want to map the data. So let's go into our mapping mode and change it, mapping from velocity magnitude. We can also normalize these values. So let's enable that. And let's set the max to only 2. And in part 3, we'll look at how we can turn these dots into actual geometries that represent the collision with the facades.